This episode of Pool Magazine Podcast is proudly brought to you by Master Pools Guild, an exclusive network of over 100 elite custom pool builders represented from all across the globe, each carefully chosen for their exceptional skills, reputation, and outstanding ability in swimming pool design and construction. Established in 1962, the MPG name has become a hallmark for elite quality pool building. We've created a network for the world's most talented pool builders to consult, inspire, and support each other. To learn more about the Guild and what membership has to offer, visit us on the web at masterpoolsguild.com.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joe Trusty, and today I'm in Whistler, British Columbia in Canada, attending Master Pools Guild's fall meeting. Joining us is longtime MPG member and award-winning builder Brett Dunn with Mission Pools. It's a pleasure to have you with us today on the show, Bruce.
Nice to talk with you.
Can you give us a brief overview of your company and the markets that you guys serve, your history in the pool industry?
Mission Pools is a 65-year-old company, and we're in our second generation. We service Southern California and Orange, Riverside, and San Diego County, and we do some commercial work in Los Angeles.
So your stomping grounds is more or less like Temecula, that area, right?
Yes. Strong points are specifically Riverside and San Diego counties.
Gotcha. I mean, Bruce, you've been doing this a long time, but tell me, what first inspired you to start a pool company to begin with?
Well, I actually had an opportunity to do a business survey for the gentleman that owned a company that owned Mission Pools. And we went in purely to study how come they're not making any money. And it became very apparent that there was more going out the back door than there was going out the front door. When that changed, there was nobody left. We let everybody go. And that put me in the pool business. And it was only a couple of years later that my brother and I were able to buy the company.
So you touched base on that for a second. You started this company with your brother, right?
Yes.
Okay. So your brother, from my understanding, handled more or less the construction, the engineering of these pools, and that you were more or less responsible for the sales, the operations of the business, running the day-to-day, right?
That's correct.
I mean, what's it like working with your brother for such a long time, that kind of yin and yang kind of persona where you guys complement each other's weak points and strengthen each other in areas?
It was probably the greatest part of the career. My brother is 4 years younger than I am. He's retired now, and it just couldn't have been a better experience, be able to have 40 plus years of functional work every single day, including Saturday. It was a real joy.
Your brother's got a great reputation here in the Master Pools Guild. People speak fondly when they talk about him. You've also got a great reputation here as well. You've been a mover and shaker in this industry for quite a long time. You were a previous chair of the MSPF. Just tell me, what's it like to have seen this industry over the years to where it's at now from when you first started back in the 60s?
The company itself, we took on a business model that was different than what was the standard in the industry. When we got involved, you had a few franchise companies. You had a fractionalized industry that had individual contractors that predominantly used subcontractors. We took the other road and said we were going to hire employees in all the different trades and have an in-house construction company. We were also going to do not just residential work, the commercial work, which led us into government work. We've done water parks. So it's been a wide variety of projects, for the company.
How does Mission Pools kind of differentiate themselves? You guys are in one of the most competitive, if not the most competitive market in the world, not the country, when we talk about swimming pools. So what is it that you guys are doing different down there?
I think if you call it different, you'd have to take a look at the quality of the people that we have internally. And that's not just from a management standpoint or administrative standpoint. It's construction. The swimming pool business is construction. So many people focus on sales. You understand if you don't get it in the front door, you don't get to work on it. But the fact of the matter is, if you don't know how to build it and build it correctly, all the sales in the world aren't going to do you any favors.
Sure. You still got to build these pools that you sell.
That's correct.
Now, you've been doing this a long time, over 65 years. I mean, how does your team continue to stay ahead of the latest design trends, construction techniques, and what homeowners are really looking for in terms of a luxury pool in their backyard?
Well, just like being a member of the Master Pool Guild, you have the opportunity to share information, to learn different techniques, different types of swimming pools. Back in the day when vanishing edges, as you see so frequently now, were not even an entity, the guild was building, vanishing edges and teaching people about flow rates and about friction and just the kinds of things you needed to know to design a artistic pool correctly. And so I think I have to give a lot of credit to the guild. We also are very close with the manufacturing concerns. One of the things we inherited when we bought the business was the fact that the company had always been a direct purchaser of equipment from the major equipment suppliers. And so those equipment companies, back in the days, it was SwimQuip, then SwimQuip became Stay Right, and then Stay Right became Pentair. They all have educational programs that they put on, and they certainly make them available to not just management people, but people that are actually in the field, in the trenches, doing the real work.
So these summits, these yearly meetings, both in the spring and the fall, would you say that's a great opportunity to learn what's coming around the bend and connect with those that are bringing new techniques, new technology, new products to market?
There's no question about it. I can tell you there are memories of going to meetings and sitting with plans rolled out on a piano to teach somebody how to build a product that would require a surge tank, the way the piping would go, the way the equipment would run, the way not just filtration, but the operation. There's a lot more excitement than just the classes.
For sure. You guys are a top 50 builder. Like I said, Aqua 100, considered by many to be one of the leading pool construction companies in the country. Certainly local leaders in your own market. I mean, tell me, Bruce, what's the secret to building a high-performing team of this caliber? I mean, it seems like a lot of people can get to the top of the mountain, but being consistently consistent, it's very difficult.
I think it boils down to hard work. Even today in my role, I go to work at 6:30 in the morning and usually get home between 6 and 6:15 in the evening. And I work on Saturdays when we're in town. I think it's that hard work that sets an example for people that says, this isn't a game. This is, in fact, real work. There's a lot of satisfaction to building what we build. There have just been projects that about the time you thought you saw that's about the best, something new comes around the corner.
For sure. I've read through a lot of the reviews, a lot of the testimonials that your customers have given you over the years. Seems like the one thing that stands out to me when I read a lot of what your customers have to say about you is that there's a tremendous work ethic there. And from what you're telling me, you're still putting in a yeoman's day, still working on Saturday, still getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you've built a lot of those core values into the company. A second generation pool company now. How did you plan for kind of passing that torch and the succession of what you've built?
I had the opportunity to take a class at Harvard. During that 3-year program, part of it was succession planning. And succession planning could mean you're setting yourself up to be sold, or you're setting yourself up for a legacy and a continuation. My brother and I at that point, and this goes back in 1992, we made the decision that for those family members that would like to be involved in the business, we'd make it available for them, and no push for anything like that at all. But the succession plan that we put in place back in the late 90s was really crafted off of a number of case studies that we had at Harvard. Fast forward to that, we found that the succession plan has to be flexible because the world changes and people change and desires change. And as all that came to pass, we found ourselves 3 years ago to where, with my brother's retirement, my son, who had been working as our CFO, and our chief operating officer, Mike Roudebush, who is in charge of all our large commercial and intricate type of projects, that the both of them had a mirror image of Bruce and Jeff. Jeff being operations, Bruce being business, Brett being numbers, Mike being operations. It was wonderful because just as some of the flex of the succession plan you had to have because some things wouldn't work out as well as you'd hoped, this worked out even better.
I mean, since 1960, you've been at the helm. You established a lot of those core values and standards for the company. If you had to summarize what those are and what's the most important thing that you impress upon prospective clients, what would that be?
We sell an expensive product. And I mean, right down to every single project, big or small, the focus has to be on building correctly. Speed is not necessary. Quality is everything. And I'm quite sure you know that the word quality is used over and over again to the point to where you question whether or not it's just another adjective. But the reality is that you have to be driven to have the end product, everything if not more than what the expectation of the client is. That all the advertising in the world won't get you through the front door anywhere near as quickly as word of mouth.
I think that's what you've got going for you in a big way, though, is that reputation that you've spent the better part of the last 7 decades building has been what's really propelled you in that market. Now, yours is a firm with so many different award-winning projects. I mean, what's been your most memorable achievement to date?
Well, how about I give you a recent one? 4 weeks ago, we completed a project that had been under construction for 1 year and 3 months. It was a 40 by 100 residential pool that had what we call a terraced entry that made for a perimeter slot drain that allowed the water level to be up high. The entire pool, with the exception of the spa and 2 sunning ledges on one end of the pool, the entire pool is 8 feet deep. The client and the client's family are absolutely into water polo. And so this pool was designed in this gorgeous new home in this big backyard as a, not just a play pool, but something that the family could really use. That particular project, as we look back on it, the mechanics, the design, the engineering that went into it, the entire pool is supported on caissons. It was everything you'd learned in your career wrapped up in one project.
So it's the culmination of everything that you've been doing. But what's the ticket price on something like that? Where's the money, no object? Or?
No, that project was, we built a water feature also along the side. That project was $2.4 million.
Yeah, sounds like a huge endeavor. Yeah. So speaking of award winners, I mean, you've walked away with a few ones last night. What's the vibe like with your team, knowing that your work is so well received among your peers?
Well, now we'll go back from this meeting. And yes, it was good fortune last night. We'll take those back and we'll hang them in the office. But before we ever put them in the front to the public, they will go back where the construction people, the superintendents, gather every morning. Everybody gets there and is able to take a look and say, you know, I did the plumbing on that job. You know, I did the tile. Look at the tile on that job.
Sure, they all get to share in the win.
That's exactly right.
Well, you've been doing this a long time. You've seen it all when it comes to the pool industry. In your opinion, if you had to boil it down, what separates the good pool builders from the great ones?
Good pool builders are, in fact, builders. They are construction related. It's like I said earlier, you have to have sales to keep the door open, but if you can't build and build correctly, it's all for naught. And I would say that for younger people that are coming in the industry, a perfect piece of advice, and that's become a builder. Because as you become a builder and you become someone who is a go-to, you need lighting design, you need plumbing design, you need to design the way surge systems work, the way cleaning systems work. It's one thing to buy the equipment. It's another thing to put it together correctly. And for a young man or a young woman that's coming into this, dedicate yourself to doing that and learn, and don't worry about the money. It will come.
Well, Bruce, thanks so much for taking out time today to connect with us. I mean, I really enjoyed our conversation.
Great. Thank you.
We'll be showcasing some of Mission Pools' latest award-winning pool designs in the next issue. So make sure to like, share, follow, and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time on another episode of Pool Magazine Podcast.
This episode of Pool Magazine Podcast is proudly brought to you by Master Pools Guild, an exclusive network of over 100 elite custom pool builders represented from all across the globe, each carefully chosen for their exceptional skills, reputation, and outstanding ability in swimming pool design and construction. Established in 1962, the MPG name has become a hallmark for elite quality pool building. We've created a network for the world's most talented pool builders to consult, inspire, and support each other. To learn more about the Guild and what membership has to offer, visit us on the web at masterpoolsguild.com.